Hey everybody. Okay, let's talk about sugar. It's everywhere and people are always concerned about it all the time and talking to me about, oh, that's got too much sugar in it. I can't have that. It's got too much sugar in it. And they mean more than just white sugar. And so I talked about sugar and how not all sugars are the same. Sorry, let me angle my thing down here. Um, which you can read about. I wrote a blog post about it and I put the link up above so you can click on that if you want to read more about that. But today what I really want to talk about is sugar, just plain old regular white evil sugar. And so what do you think? Sugar, is it a drug or no? Is it food or is it a drug? So I asked because of all my own experience with sugar, which I'll get to, but first, let's define drugs, okay? So I found online this definition: a medicine or other substance which has a physiological effect when ingested or otherwise introduced into the body. And then Merriam-Webster added this: something, often an illegal substance, which we know sugar's not, that causes addiction or habituation, okay? So I thought that was pretty interesting as well. So is sugar addicting? What do you guys think? So have you ever tried coming off of it? I think that kind of answers the question right there. I mean, seriously, have you ever tried coming off of sugar at all? None, like for a day. I mean, I'm talking like 24 hours or longer, say like 48 hours, right? It sounds dramatic, but you're probably thinking, oh yeah, sure, I could totally live without sugar for a day. I don't have to eat every day. But have you ever gone a day without it? I mean, like really none at all. And it's pretty shocking. Most people haven't. So I have, and it isn't impossible, but it's definitely not without effort either. I find I have to kind of force myself through the first couple of days, like just put my big girl pants on and just go through the cravings. And it takes about like 72 hours and then the cravings go away and I'm good without it. But it can be a little bit of a white knuckle of those 72 hours, where I have to kind of really have the discipline and force myself not to have it. But after that, the cravings go away and then I'm good without it. And then after like a few months, because it's just sugars everywhere, I find myself getting complacent, kind of like with other drugs and people using drugs and having addictions, and thinking, oh, yum, I'd love to have a piece of that birthday cake. That looks so good. And then like, voila, one slice and I'm right back on it again, right? So then I know I have to fight the cravings again for like 3 days to get that space from it. And once I get that, then it just becomes a choice again rather than kind of like, oh, I want it, I want it, I want it. So, and then, you add in like, I have a bad day or some extra stress, and, really sugar and carbs are my go-to comfort food of choice. So it's not, and I don't mean like carbs like broccoli or strawberries, I mean carbs like bread or crackers or that kind of thing, chips, stuff like that. So you tell me, does that sound like a drug or not? I'm not even getting into like the health aspects here, just the drug and addiction parts, just to kind of increase our awareness of it. I recently posted my Confessions of a Nutritionist, which you could read in the feed below. And I talked about my trip back into sugar and other junk foods recently on a vacation with my husband to Vegas. And anyways, just this sugar issue is like high in my mind right now, pun intended, as I come off of it again. Yes, again, it's so frustrating, right? So human though too, that's how we are. So I just want to say too, when I haven't had it for a while and then I go back on it, I notice the effects like instantly. It is like a drug. It's so intense. If you haven't been having sugar and then you have it, it really is noticeable what it does in the body. I get like increased heart rate. It kind of gives me like anxiety. You get like that euphoria feeling for a little bit. After a while, that really like starts revving up my nervous system, my endocrine system. It can make me feel short of breath. It can really have a big effect. And then the next day, I notice I have depression. I'm irritable. Does this sound like other drugs to you? It certainly does to me. So if you've never taken a sugar break, or you haven't had a break in a while, I encourage you to give it a go, right? Just take a little break from sugar. You're going to live through it. Especially if you've got anything going on in your body that you aren't loving, like any symptoms, any issues, anything, coming off of sugar will be a huge help, I swear. We think about food sensitivities, and people are always asking me about like gluten or dairy or that kind of thing, and I never hear anyone talk about sugar. But man, this is a huge issue for pretty much most people, and it has a huge impact on our health, which I'm not going to get into all the science of that right now. We'll do that another time. But um, just quickly, it's like it causes this like huge spike of insulin, right? Which we've all heard about, sugar spiking our blood sugar, and then the subsequent drop off that happens after that. Insulin is the hormone doing this. But did you know that after that drop off, there's like this huge spike in adrenaline from the adrenals? So, yep, that's a big part of how sugar messes with our hormonal system and our nervous systems, is that adrenaline spike that comes after that insulin component. So if you've got any hormonal stuff going on, like thyroid issues, adrenal fatigue, PMS, or like bad perimenopausal symptoms or menopause symptoms, sugar would be the first place I would look for sure, 100%. Try it. I double, triple dare you to come off sugar for, say, 3 days and see, one, how hard it is, and two, and feel the benefits when you come to the other side, because I know you will. It'll be noticeable, I promise. And then come back to me and tell me, is sugar a drug or not? So huge thanks to you for listening today and being there with me. I'm grateful for your support. And if you want to read the blog, click on the link and ask me questions. Let me know what you want to know. All right. Have a good day. Bye.